M. Night Shyamalan's The Visit is one of the most joyless experiences I've ever sat through, and yet many considered this to be his return to form, but it wasn't. There were just less variables to fuck up. Now let me explain. M. Night Shyamalan has always been a fascinating character to me.
They just don't get you.
They've never got me, and it's getting worse. They're like, it's almost like, go away.
Pretty much as soon as I started this channel, I already had plans to cover his career. There was a noticeable pattern in the works that I found to be very interesting. His breakout film, The Sixth Sense, isn't just a classic. It's a film that demonstrates true talent. This wasn't just some random coincidence where he just happened to make a good movie. The guy clearly knew what he was doing, and the intent is undeniable.
It's a 4-minute scene and there's no music. And definitely the traditional way to play the climax of a movie emotionally is a string, you know, it's supposed to, but there isn't a drop of music, and these guys are just having this conversation in traffic. And I remember thinking, you know, you could score this, and then I was like, but why? You know, but why? It's there. And so that was a big step as a filmmaker as well.
So when he blew everyone's expectations away by somehow making a film that's even worse than The Happening...
The ground is an extension of who you are!
I knew that there was something very strange going on. What happened in this man's life to go from knowing exactly what you're doing to having no fucking idea what you're doing? And it didn't even stop there. When After Earth was released, I was legitimately excited to see how much of a fuck-up it could be, and I was not disappointed in the slightest. By that point, M. Night had become so incredibly infamous that Sony intentionally kept his name absent from the film's marketing, and who could blame them? Calling it a Will Smith movie was a much safer bet than calling it an M. Night movie, or so they thought. Now, whether or not studios just stopped giving him money after this film, it's clear that he decided he needed to make some changes. So he said, fuck it, I'm gonna make a really low-budget movie and no one can tell me what to do. And it seems to have paid off. Apparently all you have to do to win people back is make a shitty found footage movie. It tries to be a horror comedy in the same way that the first Paranormal Activity movie did. Funny scenes in the daytime where we dick around and act like idiots. But watch out, because at nighttime, that's when it starts getting scary. Am I the only person that had the exact opposite experience? Because the nighttime scenes were the only parts of the film that were even close to being funny, and it was only during the daytime where we saw the most truly terrifying of scenes.
Oh, now in the end, you'll be in my band. We won't be just friends. You'll write inappropriate text and hit send. We share a Starbucks Frappuccino blend.
The movie starts out with a handful of exposition. The mom tells a quick story about how she hasn't talked to her grandparents in 15 years, and apparently her parents recently looked her up on the internet and asked if they could meet their grandchildren.
Told the kids. They said they wanted to go. I told them I didn't want them to go. They said they were gonna go anyway.
I don't want my children to go, but here, let me drive them to the train station. Are your children in any sort of contact with your parents? Did your parents threaten to pay for their train ticket behind your back? Whatever, now we get to see M. Night's excellently written child character dialogue.
I'm on the text with 2 separate girls.
It's important you put the word separate in there in case we thought they were conjoined twins.
The mother then casually explains that they'll be gone for a week and also their phones won't be working.
I need to text.
It's 1 week. Your phones won't work all the way out there. You'll be home Saturday.
Are you holding my camera properly?
Swerve, girl.
Now the kids are on the train and they explain that their mom has a new boyfriend.
We've decided to promote this union by giving them time. They're going on a trip.
A Royal Caribbean cruise.
You're talking about this as though she somehow wouldn't have been able to go on a cruise unless you were at your grandparents'. Is this 15-year-old not allowed to be in charge of the house for a week? And now is where the true terror begins.
Girl, I'm chilling again. I'm feeling again. I'm like Iron Man and Batman. I'm a hero again. Oh, you think I'm little, but last month I grew 1.25 inches again. You think you're too good for me, but that's really a joke. Cause see, that doesn't bother me cause I'm not a sensitive bloke.
It was at this point where one of my friends in the theater turned to me and said, Adam, this is your fault. You see, the reason why I loved watching M. Night films is that watching him fail to do a serious drama or action movie always turned out to be comedic. But when you you fail at comedy, it only makes things absolutely joyless. This is nothing but pain. So now they meet their grandparents and it's just really awkward. You see, the thing with horror movies is that they're able to get away with low-effort, uneventful scenes. In any other movie, this would just be considered boring, but horror movies have the implication of suspense. We've been so conditioned towards jump scares that everybody's just on edge expecting one the whole time.
Why are your pants so low?
I rap.
I like how they tried to justify her asking why his pants were so low by showing him pulling up his pants earlier, even though they weren't any further down than before he did that, and also she wasn't even looking at him. Whatever, I guess it's worth it to justify this hilarious sequence.
The girls, they like me. They think I'm sweet like candy. One girl looked at me like I was a Hershey. Bah, her name was Andy. And a few tall girls, they just look at me blankly.
Let's cut to the chase. The rhymes. Who wrote the rhymes, gentlemen?
Well, that would be me.
You an MC.
Yeah.
MC Night, y'all. I heard it. MC Night.
Might I mention that it's only been 3.5 minutes since the previous cringe rap scene? Is this the meat of the film? Was this the stickiness?
You know, it wouldn't be that, glamorous if you saw me writing them. I was like at home, then I was like, okay, I'm gonna put on a Biggie song and just listen to, how did he rhyme? Oh, okay, wow, that's really funny. Wow, he's so good. And then I write that, and then okay, I'm gonna copy that, but I'm gonna make this a joke.
So if you didn't already know who this dashing young gentleman is, this is Hollywood producer Jason Blum, a man who is famous for throwing small amounts of money at pretty much any shitty horror movie thrown his way. And he's actually got a pretty fucking genius business model. Everything he produces is super low budget, so there's not much risk. But when one of those movies is successful, the payoff is huge.
They said, this model seems replicable. Like, why don't people replicate it? And his answer was, yeah, I don't know. It really isn't so. It's not rocket science.
He has produced an average of 10 movies a year since 2006. In the year of 2015, when The Visit was released, he had produced 19 films and TV shows. He produced the Paranormal Activity movies, he produced the Insidious movies, he produced the Sinister movies, he produced the Ouija movies. He is also responsible for that shitty remake of Martyrs, and let's not forget Happy Death Day, as forgettable as that film may be. He has become such a successful and iconic horror producer at this point that many theaters referred to one of his films as Blumhouse's Truth or Dare. It's legitimately a selling point, apparently, and I genuinely have a lot of respect for him as a businessman. Believe it or not, it is still possible to respect the man that produced Unfriended. And quite honestly, I would rather have more movies being made than less movies, even if they are shit movies. And once in a blue moon, he actually produces something good, like Get Out, and Whiplash for some reason? Anyway, you can thank this man for giving M. Night money when nobody would. And why wouldn't he? The guy can clearly afford to waste $5 million. I just hope that he's at least happy with the final product.
I got my rhymes in a beehive has beast. So it didn't surprise computers or make me think for heaven's sake. When I heard wine go, the balance is sort of steady. You remind me of a pineapple upside down cake. Ho!
So now the kids find their beds and the grandpa just casually mentions for them not to go in the basement. And of course they make sure to mention that their phones don't work again. But it's a good thing they have internet because now they get to talk to their mom. And apparently these grandparents have like Google Fiber or something. And apparently their mom has somehow merged her laptop with a $50,000 Red camera. Somehow I kind of fucking doubt that Skype would even be able to handle that if that's what she was doing. All I'm saying is the video quality is far too perfect. And it kind of fucking annoys me when more money and effort is spent into making something look less realistic. The very next shot, we get to see one of the cameras that the girl is filming with.
This is the first camera that Mom found in the damaged goods bin.
And in a later scene, we get to see the other camera. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you could get this kind of image from these damaged goods bin cameras. I mean, just look at this fucking rig they're using in the behind-the-scenes footage. Why are you spending so much money on making the film look less authentic? I guess it's true that most people either won't notice or don't give a shit, but for me personally, I kind of feel like what's the fucking point of even making a found footage film if it doesn't even feel like one? one. There's so many different shots that just look so incredibly fake, especially the ones where the characters are pretending to hold it while they move from behind the camera to in front of it. Yes, I am totally holding the camera right now, and it's not some adult camera operator doing it for me. Yes, I am totally holding the camera right now, and it's not some adult camera operator doing it for me. Yes, I am totally moving the camera from one hand to the other right now, and it is not an adult camera operator doing it for me. Wow, this girl must really be a fucking pro if she can adjust the zoom and focus perfectly while she's holding it with one hand. Just give the kids the fucking camera. Film it on a piece of shit. It'll look better. If you're aiming to make a horror movie, the lower quality would actually make it a bit scarier too. What's the fucking point in spending all of this time, money, and effort on making it look less genuine? I don't understand. So now it's later in the day and we are subjected to even more hilarious comedy written by M. Night Shyamalan.
I've decided to use female pop singers' names instead of cursing from now on.
Why?
I think it would sound better. Like if I stubbed my toe, I'd say, Shakira.
Ha 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 ha. I'm finding it difficult to even edit through this shit right now. Like, oh man, I wonder if that's going to be reincorporated later in the film. That certainly won't come up ever again. I'm so excited to hear more of it because it was so funny the first time. Oh hey, little scrawny white kid flexing shirtless in front of the camera. That's comedy. Haha, you get it because he thinks he's so much more buff and cool than he actually is. Man, what a riot. So now we get the first scary scene. The girl decides to wander around with her camera in the dark because she wants cookies. I don't know about you guys, but I really fucking hate when movies are so obnoxiously transparent. Like when something happens and it's incredibly obvious that the only reason it happens is because the script needs it to happen. Yeah, let me just stop walking at the top of the stairs and get in front of the camera. It's certainly not because something's going to happen at the bottom of the stairs that we need to show the audience. Oh no, an old lady vomiting, I'm so scared. That's it. You were just walking and talking with your camera without having turned around. What was wrong with that?
I'm retracing the steps of how you might have snuck out of your room and stolen those cookies.
Why couldn't you have said that continuing to face the other way? Why couldn't you have said that as you were walking down the stairs? It's kind of annoying.
The precision involved to make it look like it was spontaneous, it's staggering. It's almost suffocating. I didn't let myself make an intellectual decision.
So the next morning, Becca wanders around by herself to talk to Grandpa. Just imagine how Becca must be holding the camera right now.
She's no lady, Becca. She gets sick sometimes.
I don't know. Now the kids decide to play hide and seek under the house. And since it's found footage, this is supposedly scary.
1 Mississippi. 2 Mississippi. 3 Mississippi.
You gotta love all these post-production microphone sound effects they throw in there. Whenever the camera moves, you get these sounds like...
I see you, you little pudge.
But they only ever do that during the scary scenes.
I'll have to use strategy.
It's just really obvious that you threw those in so it would seem more scary. Uh-oh, it's a surprise grandma.
Right past me.
How the fuck did you not hear any of that? If you're so scared, then why are you still holding the camera? It seems to be making you crawl much slower than you would be otherwise. Also, I'm not sure how we're getting this image if you're facing it downward the entire time. Everything about this is wrong and stupid. Don't you just love it when post-production sound effects are used to make things seem scarier than they actually would be if they hadn't used them? Kinda reminds me of another movie where that happened a lot. So what, you can't hear anything Tyler's doing either? I like how the grandma continues to make threatening noises and this kid still can't hear shit. Or maybe the damaged goods bin camera just has a super sensitive, high-quality built-in microphone. So these kids are genuinely scared shitless at this point. But then the rest of the movie continues on as though they shouldn't immediately leave. Some dude shows up at the door and he's like, hey, are your grandparents there? They didn't show up for a thing 3 days ago. And they're like, oh no, they're walking around, it's fine. Okay, problem solved. That couldn't possibly mean anything, could it? There's so many fucking scenes of these kids just wandering around by themselves. It's such a cheap and lame way to try and instill tension. Nothing is being earned here. Oh no, it was just a poopy diapers.
Oh, God damn it! Oh, Sarah McLachlan!
Ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha, they did the joke again. Ha. Grandma then explains to him that Pop Pop poops his pants and hides his accidents in the shed, and it's really embarrassing for him. And I guess by the placement of this shot, we're supposed to assume that he's recording her without her consent. Yeah, hold on a second, Grandma, and sit right there. I'm just gonna get you in focus, but no, I'm not gonna record you, trust me. We are now at our next scary nighttime scene, and apparently they just record themselves while they're sleeping. Oh no, what's that noise? Oh no, it's Grandma acting really weird again. That's it. Later, the kids learn that Grandma actually has a condition called sundowning, which makes her act really weird at night and is also the original title of the film.
I downloaded the definition of sundowning.
You downloaded the definition? I mean, yeah, technically, but who the hell says that?
I downloaded the definition of sundowning. You wouldn't understand half the words I'm reading. The word YOLO isn't in it.
Haha, get it? Because he's a child in current year? Haha, YOLO is the word the kids use. Haha. Also, the grandma decided to use oven cleaner on the laptop camera so that it can't see anything anymore. And the girl thinks that this is totally fine.
You don't find that odd at all? She made a mistake.
Yes, she was just trying to clean some cookie batter off of it. There is no other potential reason that she might have done that. Holy shit, the cruise you're on must have amazing Wi-Fi.
Nana crawled after us under the house.
Playing hide and seek.
You guys played hide and seek under the house? I still love that.
Carrie Underwood.
Gee, just barely it's been a couple of days.
How the hell are you able to hear your children without headphones? Do you have the most powerful phone speakers in the world?
Nana and Pop-Up are acting strange. Ow.
I'm sorry, why don't you want your mother to know that your grandparents are acting like fucking psychopaths? Whatever, nothing suspicious happening here. Let's not get concerned at all.
Would you mind getting inside the oven to clean it?
Yes, sure, that's not a problem. Man, I am so scared right now. Oh hey, it's another scary nighttime scene. I wonder if it's just gonna be Grandma acting really weird again. Not sure why they're even investigating at this point, considering how content Becca was with the explanation she was given. Why the fuck is Grandma making creature noises? Perhaps if you find yourself needing to add scary sounds that aren't actually taking place in the film's universe, maybe what you're showing isn't actually scary at all? This movie is just annoying. Oh great, another boring and annoying scene where nothing happens. Oh great, another boring and annoying scene where nothing happens. Basically, this movie needs to fill up some fucking time, so they try to have these supposedly heartfelt and emotional scenes with these kids, but one of them can't convincingly show emotion.
So their running back, who's big, makes it past the line, and I'm the only one left to tackle him. All I gotta do is tackle him, put my hands around him and tackle him, but I just stand there.
The power, I think, of the pieces when an artist makes a painting, you know, you're feeling their emotion tattooed in the paints, and the same thing with our movie. The smaller and quicker I can make them, the more you're literally gonna feel what I was feeling.
Old footage of us as kids. Was thinking of using it in the doc. I refuse to use anything that has my dad in it.
But we can see him right there! So now Tyler decides that he's fed up with all the weird shit and comes up with a hypothesis.
Maybe there's something down the basement. They don't want us to go down there. They're throwing shade.
So now we get another scary scene and it's just the grandma acting really weird again. I don't really understand this whole fear of old people and children that horror movies use so often. Aren't they the least likely to be able to win in a fight? Oh no, a scary old person, what am I gonna do? Just kick them. Their bones will shatter before they hit the floor. Just tell them what furries are and they'll have a heart attack.
What makes old people so scary?
You know, that's the reason that I made the movie. You literally can put, you know, an old lady in a nightgown in a doorway, and we are terrified And yet she's just an old lady. Why are we scared? But we're all like, 3 grown men. We'd all be like, oh my God, look at the lady in the doorway.
I guess it works better for this movie because the protagonists are children, so everyone's weak and stupid, but it doesn't really do much for me as an audience member at this point. I don't know, maybe the image of an old person laughing maniacally in a rocking chair would scare me a little more if I hadn't already seen it in virtually every amusement park haunted house there is. It just seems like a lazy, boring cliche at this point. But hey, it's found footage, so it's scary now, I guess.
I know people don't take showers because of Psycho. They don't answer phones because of Scream. And now people won't visit their grandparents in the country because of The Visit as well.
It's funny, it's gross, it's scary, it's all those things that
So now they finally decide to leave the camera out at night. They also receive a special video from their mom. Well, this is just bizarre.
We're doing this so Mom can have a life.
Once again implying that she couldn't have gone on a cruise if you weren't at your grandparents'. Not sure what would be preventing you from doing that if the kids were just not at their grandparents'. And now we get another Paranormal Activity scene with crazy grandma. I hope you like jump scares. Now, I know it might be difficult to tell, but I did not add any of those noises there. That was seriously the sound from the movie. And by the way, in case you don't already know the ending of the movie, she's not a fucking werewolf. This is a human elderly lady making these noises. I seriously don't understand why this shit doesn't seem to bug people in general. It's just so fucking cheap and manipulative. When you constantly have to add this extra shit to what's being shown on screen in order to make it scary, then perhaps what you're showing isn't actually scary. Perhaps what we're seeing is actually just really fucking lame.
The kind of very crazy David Lynchian stuff that goes on in the movie is hard to promote, but it's also nice to discover when you come to the movie theater as it gets weirder and weirder, like, yeah.
Good thing the grandma cares enough to bring the camera with her so that we can see what she's doing outside of their door. Thanks, Grandma. So the next day, the kids look at the footage, and by this point, they should probably be using the internet to try and contact the authorities, but instead the girl decides to interview the grandparents some more, because she really, really needs to get them to say that they forgive their daughter, and the fact that this grandma essentially tried to murder them in their sleep doesn't mean that much to them, I guess. So then this lady comes back and starts having an argument with them.
Why is she angry?
What is she saying? If only we knew how to open the window a crack to find out. Also now, apparently the girl has scrubbed all of the shit off the webcam and it's fine now. Then we get an interview with Grandma, and I absolutely hate how this one's shot. If you're going to pretend as though the cameras we see in frame are the ones that are filming what we're seeing, could you not at least place them at an appropriate height or distance away from the person they're talking to? Both of the angles we get are significantly lower than where we see the cameras are. We see that they're both essentially at the person's eye level. The angle we're getting seems like the camera would be like over there. I just want to know why you don't give a shit. It irritates me to no end when I can't even see any good reason why something would be filmed so inconsistently and unrealistically. And I understand that some people might consider this to be nitpicky or unimportant, but when you imply that something like that doesn't matter at all, it seriously devalues the films that do give a shit. There's a reason why the Blair Witch Project feels so fucking real. The thought and effort behind how it was filmed is the entire reason why it was so successful. The film quite literally would not have been iconic if it pulled the same shit as this movie. Found footage is not an inherently terrible genre of filmmaking. There are films like Rec 1 and 2 that utilize found footage to the best of its abilities. The scenes in those films are ones that actually have a purpose to it being shown in a found footage style. There's a conscious effort that those films make to present themselves in a consistent and realistic way. And obviously they're not perfect, but those are films where the presentation adds immensely to the experience, whereas The Visit seems like it was only filmed in found footage style as a crutch. It doesn't utilize the genre as an opportunity for creativity. It is only presented in this way as part of a manipulative strategy to make people scared more easily. The amateur night segment in the first VHS movie is absolutely fantastic, and much of that is due to how it presents itself in a creative and interesting way. There are amazing shots and scenes that you simply could not get if it weren't presented in that way. But The Visit is a film that might as well have just been shot like a normal movie. Like, yeah, the girl's making a documentary, but we don't get anything out of experiencing the movie through what she films. What is even the point of presenting something in this way if you don't really care about the presentation? And how can you even appreciate when a film does it right if none of this shit even matters to you? It's all just so incredibly pointless and lazy. And perhaps with the state of found footage as a genre, people come to expect this sort of shit. Whatever, I guess none of this matters and no one should ever even try taking extra efforts towards realism. It's just found footage after all, and apparently that genre's for idiots.
Hey, kiddos. Did you get my videos? I know I look like an apple. Trip was great.
Did you forget to make her look like she had any kind of a sunburn at all, or what? Looks pretty fucking white to me. Anyway, the kids say that they want to go home because the grandparents are acting very weird.
Where are they now?
They're outside of the chicken coops.
Oh, how perfectly convenient that you just scrubbed off all of the oven cleaner from the camera and it works perfectly fine now. I like how there wasn't even any point in the film where it actually mattered anyway. There was no moment where the grandparents were hanging out in the background while the kids were making a Skype call. The camera could have been working fine the entire time and nothing would have been any different.
Becca, Tyler, babies. I need you to listen to me very carefully. Becca, Tyler, just listen to me.
They weren't saying anything.
Those aren't your grandparents.
I guess maybe for me, I kind of want to ask one question. Was these kids never saw a picture of their grandparents? I know, like,
well, you can't ask this question. You can't ask this question. We can do this talk later.
That's outrageous. I don't even know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, spoiler alert! It's fine. Because at that, like,
we can't talk about this. We can do it over there.
All right, fine.
Knight is a very meticulous filmmaker. His scripts are very tightly composed puzzles.
I saw the twist coming right from the very beginning. In fact, some people have accused me of plot spoiling, which all I did was state what happens at the beginning of the film. So they go off to this distant place to stay with their Nana and Pop-Pops from whom they are estranged and whom they have not met before. I'm sorry for anyone if what I said did spoil it. I mean, as far as I was concerned, the film spoiled itself.
You know, even if the real grandparents weren't replaced by these mental patients, with the way you planned this out, your children might as well have been abducted by random strangers anyway. You sent your kids on a train alone to be picked up by people that they don't even know what they look like? Mother of the fucking Year award right here.
Please aren't answering. Damn, stupid hicktail.
What kind of a fucking laptop has the lens on the bottom of it? Certainly doesn't seem like you're holding a phone. Just looks like you were moving around a giant movie camera. So now we get another scene where the grandma asks the girl to get in the oven to clean it. And by this point in the movie, she should obviously be very concerned. So obviously she just bends her legs in to make it really easy for the grandma to close the door on her.
Oh, this'll just take a second.
Why would you do that? What part of cleaning the oven requires you to put your legs inside? This is just so fucking stupid. And what's hilarious is that whoever edited the film's trailer clearly felt the same way, because they edited it as though she was making any efforts to prevent this from happening at all.
Stop! Now, stop!
Oh, this'll just take a second.
Ah, fuck realism. The script says she needs to get in the oven and this is how she does it. Haha, got you. I'm letting you out now. Hey everyone, we should play some Yahtzee. So the kids try to avoid this by going outside, but suddenly...
What is that? Pick teams. Young versus old.
Well, that's hilarious. Didn't they kill that woman a while ago? You've been outside several times since then. You were looking out the windows and everything. I guess the grandparents silently killed her in the barn and then snuck out later to move the body to the tree. Gotta love how he just teleports out of fucking nowhere. Boo, I was standing here the whole time. So now they're playing Yahtzee and Becca pretends as though her camera battery needs changing and just ditches her brother.
Becca?
Ha 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 ha. Is that supposed to be scary? So now in the most annoying fashion possible, Becca decides to go down to the basement by herself for no fucking reason.
I think they have my grandparents here.
So? Your mother is on her way to save you from these deranged psychopaths. Do you really think this is an appropriate time to be checking out the basement by yourself? Meanwhile, fake grandma's acting really weird again, so fake grandpa takes her to her room. If only Becca had just waited there for a bit, this would be a pretty fucking ideal opportunity to escape. No, it's more important to abandon all logic and force in a really cliched alone in the dark, scary basement scene. Are you even trying to make it look as though she's the person holding the camera here? Oh hey, a weapon. Nope, don't need that. Hey, you found your grandparents. Great job.
My name is Becca Jameson. If you find this footage...
My name is Mitchell.
So now Grandpa's chasing her around in the dark, and my only real takeaway from this scene is just how ridiculously easy it is to scare people. Yes, let me hide over here with my camera light on. Good thing this is filmed in found footage, so it can be really scary without you actually having to show anything at all. Just hang out in the dark and shake the camera around. Perfect. So now she manages to run upstairs, but he locks her in this room. Although perhaps he didn't really lock her in because she doesn't even try turning the fucking doorknob. I guess the door they were using for this scene didn't actually have a lock? Yeah, just pull backwards on the handle, it'll look fine. How am I supposed to feel scared for a character that isn't even trying to leave? Unless she genuinely doesn't understand how doors work. Whatever, it's super scary because there's a crazy grandma in the room. Let me just turn my camera towards the wall for a second. I'm sure everything will be exactly the same when I look back towards... Oh no. Wait a minute, you're actually doing that again for a second time? Why? Oh no, she is in fact still there when I turn back. How scary. Well, couldn't hurt to do it one more time, I guess. Is this just a game now? Oh no, she's doing something different this time. I'm so scared. I'm just struggling to understand how I could watch this and be anything but annoyed. All right, why are you on top of the bed now? Wow, Grandma was actually a cat this whole time, I guess. I have to assume Becca is just playing a game with her at this point? Why would you move on top of the bed that you just saw her go underneath? What's your fucking deal?
Logic doesn't matter if you can scare people. Nobody watching a scary movie cares about why the main character would do something as long as it results in them being scared.
Meanwhile, the grandpa decides to shove a dirty diaper in the kid's face. And honestly, this was probably the best part of the movie. It was legitimately the only part of the film where I feel as though I experienced the intended reaction. I seriously wasn't expecting that. Congratulations, M. Night, you did something.
You did it. Good job. I can't believe it. I'm proud of you.
Oh no, Grandma's turned into a ghost. Here, let me just face the mirror for no reason. Man, I am so scared because of the threat in this room. Let me turn my back to it. Whatever, I guess it works out because now there's a broken mirror piece that you can use as a weapon, and when Grandma tries to make out with you and get a little too close for comfort, then you can stab her. Yay, you did it. So now this movie goes full quarantine and tries to pretend as though she's using the camera to break off the doorknob. And holy fuck, does it look so unbelievably sloppy. Was this supposed to look super cool and not just ridiculously unprofessional and embarrassing? Holy fuck, this is bad. Whatever, now she's free, so it's time for her to save the day. What? Oh no, my one true weakness, being hugged. Now it's time for Tyler to redeem himself and give the old man a swift tackle. Because remember in that really forced scene where he was talking about not being able to make the tackle in football, and apparently he's just still really upset about it? Well, now he gets to redeem himself. What great reincorporation. So they kill the fake grandpa, and they hear the police sirens, and they run outside, and the mom's there. Yay. What a happy ending. My kids survived despite the fact that I'm a terrible mother. Tyler. By the way, Becca, remember what I was saying about me not having a good relationship with my parents? Don't hold on to anger. It won't do you any good. Oh, look, Becca included some footage of her dad, so she truly forgives him even though he doesn't really deserve it. Also, this is what, the early 2000s now? If you thought the camera quality was plausible before, well, I got some bad news for you. You don't think this might have been the appropriate time to use a less expensive, lesser quality camera? Who gives a shit? And this is where the movie probably should end, but instead they throw in one more scene.
I may be 13, may not live in the hood, may not carry no chrome, may not be allowed a cell phone at dinner, but I'm young and can do 18 push-ups, and I speak the truth.
This is seriously how they're playing out the film, in case you somehow haven't had enough cringe rap already.
I got messed up with a killer who's truly insane. I will try not to refrain, try to overcome my pain, cause one day it will get me my fame. Like 50 Cent getting shot and being lame, you see.
Fuck off. The end.
On fire, I walked on water, I walked on sand, and I walked on land. Can you hear me now?
Thank you, M. Night. Thank you, Jason Blum. You really did it. Thank you so much for this wonderful cinematic experience. We couldn't have done it without you. I'm so happy that this film exists and that I saw it. I am a happy boy. This was totally worth my time. M. Night, you really, you did it. This is redemption for you. This is your best movie since your good movies. Now, when comparing this film to The Last Airbender and After Earth, sure, the entire production wasn't as much of a colossal fuck-up as those films, but at least they tried, you know? They are colossal pieces of shit, but at least I can enjoy watching them. I fully understand that I don't have the same taste in movies as everybody else, but The Visit is the only M. Night film that I legitimately never want to see again in my entire fucking life. So hopefully this review can be seen as some sort of closure in that sense. If you liked this movie because of its charm, then I'm glad you enjoyed it, but for me personally, I don't have much interest in seeing movies where the director just throws in the fucking towel and doesn't even try. Is there any aspect to this film that can be considered some sort of achievement? Did this movie accomplish anything in the slightest? Is it really worth the entire experience of the movie just to watch a kid get a diaper shoved in his face? Is the diaper in the kid's face a metaphor for the film in the audience's face? Because regardless of intent, it sure fucking feels like it to me. I sincerely hope that M. Night never attempts to do any kind of documentary found footage style ever again, because I don't exactly have much faith for him in that department at this point. As some of you already know, I did enjoy his newest film, Split, but I guess what concerns me is that he wrote the script for that one back when he was still making good movies, so I can't exactly say that I'm confident that he's returned to form. Regardless, I'm excited to see whatever he makes next, because he is certainly one of the most interesting voices in cinema working today.
When someone comes up to me and says, I want to be a filmmaker, I want to be an actor, I'm trying to talk to my parents, what do you think, what should I do, and all this stuff, and I'm like, if there's a choice involved, don't do it. For sure. If there's a choice, you want to be an engineer, you want to be a dentist, and you're thinking about doing this, I love movies. I want to be a director, I think, Don't do it. Don't do it. If there's no other way, there's just no other way. I was like, imagine you've lost the person that you love. Your parents think you're a failure. Everything has gone wrong, everything. Do you still want to be and it takes 20 years, 30 years, and everybody says, you stink, you're terrible. You spent all that time, all regret. Your whole life is defined by your failure to do this. Is it still something you want to do? Then go do it, because it should be no other choice in the matter. It takes like an irrational passion to do it. There will be those people that kind of do the process and then get lucky and fall into it, but I don't want to watch movies by those people. I want to watch movies by the people that there was no other choice.
Wow, that sure was a good, funny video that I made myself. That was great. Oh no, what's up with these names coming up the screen? It turns out that those are names from my patrons, and you too could have your name on the screen. But you gotta go to patreon.com/YMS and give me $1, and then your name's gonna be on the screen. Thanks to these lovely people, I am able to afford going to film festivals like Cannes, which I went to this year for the first time. That was pretty fucking exciting. Also, this camera that you're seeing this on, made possible by my patrons, and as of fairly recently, I've been getting editing help on my smaller videos, like for movies that are still in theaters, so like quickies or like in theater style reviews. And Heyo Demo is doing a fantastic job. Awesome job. And your money is helping go towards paying them as well. So it's a win-win for everybody. I get to make the videos, you get to watch the videos and enjoy the videos and love the videos and share the videos and like the videos and subscribe the videos and eat the videos. And your name's on the screen. I would say that's almost a bad deal for me. My name's not on anybody's screen. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. I know that I promised I would make this video a long time ago. I finally made it. I feel good about it. It feels good to finally do something that I promised a while ago. And there's other videos. There's 2 that I can think of that I promised I would make. Still haven't made, but I'm gonna be making those as well. Because I don't want to leave these, things like open-ended and just say I'll do something and then not do it. I'm not that kind of guy. I want to wind up doing the things that I promised, even if they've been on the side burner for so long that I'm like, is it really relevant anymore? Fuck it. I said I'd do it. I'm gonna do it. There are more videos to come. I also want to do a 2007 list. Working on that. Also a kind of like guilty pleasures / list corrections video for films that I later decided, oh yeah, this should probably be on the list. And also guilty pleasures from the years like 2009 through 2012? I think 2013 was the first year that I started including guilty pleasures. So there's a bunch of years where I've made the list video, but I didn't include guilty pleasures, so I should probably recommend some of those. I'll probably be finished with my list corrections / guilty pleasures video before my 2007 list because it is a smaller project, and I would like to be able to work on something simultaneously to my next YMS review that I'm going to be starting pretty soon. And so stay tuned for those. Synecdoche, New York, Part 6. Don't worry, haven't forgotten about it, but that's not going to happen until after the next YMS review that I'm going to be starting pretty soon. And also, I'm going to be working on a Thoughts On video that I promised I would make because I really want to make one about a TV series that I really love. There's a couple, actually. There's a couple that I really... There's so many fucking things I really want to make, you know? There's so many ideas that I have where I'm like, I want to make a video about this, about this, about this. And sometimes I come to the cold and hard realization that I cannot do a million fucking things at once. And things have to be pushed back. And it's a little frustrating, I'm sure, for both of us, for all of us. But unfortunately, that is reality. So I have to prioritize which projects are coming first and what I should be working on before other things. Anyway, just wanted to keep you guys in the loop because that's what I like to do. I also have a podcast called Sardonicast with I Hate Everything and Ralph the Movie Maker. We talk about movies, we talk about memes, we talk about Jenkum. Sometimes we have guests like Anthony Fantano or Chris Stuckman, and more to come. Definitely check that out, link in the description. There's another channel that I don't really advertise as much on here just because I kind of consider it like a dump of my Twitch streams. But a lot of people seem to be really enjoying it right now. It's called Adam Plays Throughs, and I recently got a comment of somebody being like, why the hell did I have to discover this for myself? Why haven't you shared this anywhere? You never promote this channel, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm glad I found it, but I can't believe that you haven't promoted this channel at all. So here you go. I'm promoting the channel right now. So if you want to watch basically hour-long segments of the full streams from Twitch, of both my editing streams and my Sunday gaming streams where I play a bunch of different games, that's the place for you. Yeah, I didn't really advertise it until now, but people seem to be enjoying it. So anyway, I'm tired. feel like I'm getting sick, and I never know how to end these things. But thank you for watching. Thank all these lovely people right here for helping produce the content. Mwah, 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 mwah. And have sweet, sweet, dreamy dreams about M. Night Shyamalan and about cringe rap and everything that you could possibly desire in your life. I just realized it looks like I'm praying right now. This was just like a default position. Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes I just do this and I don't even realize it looks like I'm praying. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. Bye.